Barakim Habarim. Welcome to Messianic Moment Ministry. I'm Stephen Bruck, and you know who you are. Today's the 13th day of June, 2024. Throughout the Bible, we see that the way the kings of Israel and Judea, which is the northern and southern kingdoms respectively, we see the way they worshipped was forced upon the people. And when the kings did what was right in God's eyes, well, they were all blessed. But when the kings did what was wrong in God's eyes, everyone suffered, even the people who were not doing evil. Hey, let's stop for a second, do some administrative stuff. Don't forget, please subscribe on the website. There's a subscribe button here on YouTube. Do them both because they're different lists. Subscribe, click the notifications, ring that bell so that you're notified each time I do post a new message. And I have a Facebook discussion group. It's called Just God's Word. I invite you to join, but please don't forget this. You got to click and agree to the rules, or I can't let you in. I can't even say to you, hey, you forgot to click to the rules. So please do that. And if you like what you get here, you're going to like my books. I got 5 of them out there for you. You can get through them on the links on the website, or if you're on Amazon, just put my name, Stephen R. Bruck, in the search field, and the books will show up there. And finally, again, please share these messages with everyone you know. They don't have to be believers. You never know. Plant the seed and let God take it from there. All right, let's get into today's talk. It's a little different for me. Now, in the northern kingdom of Israel, which is also called Shamron, their kings really, they never did anything that was righteous. I mean, not from the first king, Jeroboam, and he was anointed by God, to the last king, Hosea, who rebelled against the king of Assyria, and that resulted in the final destruction of the northern kingdom and the distribution of the people into the diaspora. In the southern kingdom, we had good kings and bad kings, usually skipping a generation, until the kings got so bad, with Manasseh being the worst, that they too were conquered and sent into exile in Babylon. Now, I believe the term collateral damage accurately identifies those righteous people living under unrighteous leadership who are forced to suffer because of the sins of their leaders. We see this often throughout the Bible, but more than that, it has been a part of world history, even to this very day. Now look, I do not want to make this ministry a political platform. But when we see the unrighteous and sinful, yes, sinful ways our leaders are acting and the laws they pass, I'm sorry, I can't help but recall the biblical events that are very much absolutely the same. The unrighteous leaders would remove any altars to the one true God and erect altars of the pagan gods in their place, forcing the people to worship them. Right here in America today, we have removed any reference to God from our schools, and we've replaced it with drag queens reading stories to kindergarten children. We've honored and encouraged homosexuality by assigning a special day to celebrate it, and now we're even passing laws that allow children to choose a different gender. I mean, even when they haven't yet reached puberty, which, I'm sorry, you need to be going through puberty and have passed through puberty to know what it's like to be the gender you were born with. But they're letting kids decide to change a gender before they even know what to do with the stuff they have. I mean, the government financially supports abortions, making murder legal, so long as the living being is still in the womb. Well, let me ask you, have you ever asked yourself, how long will it be before they allow the next step, which would be to immediately euthanize a baby the parents decided wasn't as healthy or the right gender or whatever they wanted it to be? America's leadership is helping to financially and militarily support, through gifts of millions of dollars and billions of dollars of top secret military equipment, to the enemies of Israel. What did God say about that? I'm sorry, wasn't it something to the effect of, treat my chosen people well and I'll bless you, but screw with them and I will mess you up bad? That's Genesis 12:3. Oh, yeah, God said it a little differently than I paraphrased it. Our economy is worsening at a frightening rate, and there is no confidence in our leadership to control it. The crime rate in many of our major cities is climbing. Yet the government of those cities, which, it's mostly the current political party in the White House, is allowing those criminals to go free. And what about the invasion of our country by anarchists? Yes, that's what they are. They're anarchists who are here to destroy the morale and safety of American citizens. They're being housed and given health care by the government, while veterans like me, although I'm not on the streets, who have risked their lives to protect Americans, well, these guys, they're out there living on the streets. America is, I believe, in the same situation where Judea was after Manasseh was king, when God told the people through Jeremiah that the end is coming, and their best bet was to work within the punishment they deserve. Thomas Jefferson is credited with saying, "The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants." Sadly, I don't believe that as bad as things are today, which really isn't that much worse than they have been in America's past, I don't believe we will ever see a revolution here in America. And as far as the Civil War, well, I don't see a military civil war happening here. But we are in a sort of social civil war. It appears to me that we are politically at polar opposition with each other. And what is really said, it is not based on a political view per se, but on how people feel about Donald Trump. I mean, how did we digress so far as to have the country so emotionally at odds with each other, divided because of one man's personality? It isn't really about that man. It's because we have become a godless and sinless country where people are more interested in the personality of their leaders than their abilities and competence in caring for and protecting American citizens. We aren't voting for someone. We're voting against someone. And when the choice of a leadership for a country comes down to choosing the lesser of two evils, that country is in big trouble. All right, my political platforming is over. And the message is this: when your leaders are sinful, God will punish everyone under that leadership. The obvious answer is for the righteous people to get together and remove those leaders. And in America, the only way to do that is through the elective process, which is also corrupted. And as a lifelong student of American history, you can believe me when I tell you that that isn't such a recent thing either. So what do we do? Well, my suggestion is one of two things. Leave the country, or what I would rather suggest, make sure that you are right with God, because that is the only way you can be sure that after the service is over, whether or not you survive it alive, you will be with God when you die. I know that isn't very comforting, but how can I give you a pleasant future when history shows us that all who have done as our leaders are doing have suffered greatly? Well, bad news, but necessary to hear. So please share this message. Otherwise, while we are still doing okay, let me say it for this, that this is this week's, I messed that up. Otherwise, while we are still doing okay, let me say that's it for this week. Lehitrot, and as much as possible, please have a pleasant and restful Shabbat this weekend.